Hi, welcome back to a review by P. Shog. Today I'm doing a review on a new series I've read called the I Am Just Junco series by J.A. Huss. This has 4 books in it so far. Well, 4.5. There's 4 books and then there's one little 4.5 novella. And the 5th book is out in December 2013. So I haven't read a new kind of good urban fantasy series in a long time. And this is the first one that I've read in ages that I thought was great. So these books are a bit chaotic and very mysterious, but they've loads of potential and they're just a really enjoyable read. The main character, it's about Junco, and it's kind of a little bit in the future, and she on Earth, everything's crazy and there's fighting and everything, but there's these creatures that have wings that they call aliens, and obviously they're from another planet and people hate them. At the beginning of the book she ends up meeting one, and there's people shooting at her and shooting at him. His name is Tyr, and they kind of have to work together, and she kind of has to trust him and he's just trying to kind of help her, and there's lots of mystery around her life, and he knows a lot of secrets. And then over the 4 books, we get to see Junco on Earth and Junco on their planet, and we find out lots about her, and it's really exciting. And there's some great relationships in there. Like Junco joins kind of like little army group of people, and she's like one of the only females, and all the guys, there's just really nice relationships. The characters are gritty and compelling and have a lot of issues. Like the main character Junco, like her mental health isn't very stable. Like she has a lot of issues and she needs a good therapist, but the author does it really, writes her really well, her mental instability, and it's just, it can be really compelling. I think the biggest fault is that sometimes it's just needlessly complicated, and it just left me confused. I think the author kind of tries, she tries to make things very mysterious, and you don't learn things straightforwardly. You don't learn them in a simple way. You have to go through different secrets and lies to get to the truth, and sometimes that's not necessary. Like, you just want people to be explicit and clear and say what they mean, and just lots of things hinted at, and there's lots of a lot of questions basically. And poor Junco, like, she's constantly being lied to, so there's a lot of trust issues and lies and arguments about trust and lies, and that can get a little bit exhausting. I think that's the main theme of the series, actually, trust and lies, and the fact that Junco feels like she can't trust anyone. People are constantly lying to her, and you do feel really bad for her at times. So I think the first book was definitely my favourite. Overall, it just made me excited for the series, and like, as I said, some things were kind of a bit complicated, but it was just really exciting and thrilling, and I loved the relationship between Junco and Tyr, and it was great. The second book, to kind of brought in all the relationships with all the other characters, was great. I don't think it was very original. It's just it reminded me of that Divergent, Hunger Games type thing, where people are thrown into this big ring or situation and keep fighting to the death. Like, we read that a lot of times. The third book I was really enjoying. Like, it was really exciting, chaotic and emotional. I thought it was brilliant. And then we got to the ending. This happens a lot in this book. You get to the ending and it kind of just ruins it for you, because it's just a big twist and it's just annoying. So that happened definitely at the end of the third book, and then the fourth, it kind of happened at the end of the fourth book too. The fourth book was definitely not my favourite. It was just so extra depressing, and everyone's treatment of Junco was so terrible. You just feel too bad for her, and the ending then was just kind of weird. But I do want to read the little novella after the 4th book, which is from Tyr's point of view, which is kind of like a male character in it. And I do kind of want to read the 5th book, but I just hope to get a bit better and, happier, things kind of go well for Junco. And the author actually commented on some of the reviews on Goodreads, and I don't know what to think about this. Like, the minute the author, like, my reviews were kind of, especially the last review was a little bit negative. I said some positive too, but and then the minute the author comments on it, I just felt obligated to apologise. I don't like feeling like that, like, oh god, the author saw it. Like, if it was a 5 out of 5 review, grand, but if you would just leave a little bit of critique in there, and that just makes me feel like authors shouldn't do that. They shouldn't comment on reviews that aren't 5 stars, because it just makes the reviewer, well, I know about all people, it just makes me feel kind of bad, and like, oh god, I should change it. And author, Stacey Kane said before, reviews are for the readers, not the authors. And sometimes the author should just take a step back and leave the readers do what they want. But that's my opinion anyway. But yeah, so the Just Junco series, it's good. Like, if I was going by the first book, I'd say it was really, very good. But if I was going by the other 3, I'd say it was just good. But you know, I'd recommend it. It's definitely one of the better urban kind of fantasy, sci-fi kind of series out there. Paranormal, it's kind of a mixture of all those. Because I read, you know, a few in the last while, and there was none I really got into. It's been like a year since I read a really good one. This one is quite good, and I definitely recommend it. And check it out anyway and see what you feel. And that's that. So now I'm going to do a quick spoiler review, and if you haven't read this series before, I suggest you switch off now. Okay, so I like the Tear and Junco relationship. As I said, I really enjoy them in the first book, and he wasn't really in the second book, but she still really kind of liked him, which was good. And they were really nice in the third book, and when she thought she was pregnant, I was like, oh, this is a great twist in the story, and then we found out she wasn't really pregnant. Although maybe she was. Remember there was that nursery she found. But anyway, then yeah, at the end of the third book, where she was just, you know, I don't know, tortured for 2 years or something in this tank. And then at the end of the fourth book, I don't even know, she's like fast, you know, scattered into a million pieces and floating around in space or something. I don't like when characters are very, like, go through this big physical change. Like, I don't like that she's half or third machine. I don't like that. I don't like them that they turned her into like this super powerful kind of, I forget the terminology, kind of like creature in the fourth book. You know, even if they are a supernatural being, I love the humanity of them and the vulnerability, so I prefer when they're not like super women and powerful and like can't kill them kind of way. As I said, I love her relationships with all the guys, like Asher, Iston and Brown. And I really loved Gideon, and I don't like that now she's feeling like she can't trust him, because I thought he was really sweet. I thought she was a bit too accepting with the whole, or compliant with the whole twining thing with Iston. Oh yes, in the second book there's 2 deaths, which I was just angry and sad about. Like, she killed that young boy, I can't remember his name, and she killed the other guy in the end, I can't remember his name either. But they were just so, like, devastating deaths that weren't necessary. So they're kind of main points in the series. I do think Terry now treated Junco terribly at the beginning of the fourth book, and apparently if we read the novella we'll see how he really feels about her, so I have to check that out. And yeah, I hope just the fifth book gets a bit more positive and, you know, less depressing. But that's my review. I'd love to know what you think about it if you read this series, and thank you very much for watching.